did is they've rigged these Humvees up for airdrop, and what we're going to do is load these into C-17s as well as into C-130s. These guys are out in the field. We're going to be airdropping the soldiers initially and first and foremost, and then afterwards we'll come in and drop their equipment to them. These right here are all Humvees, and they're going to have, I believe they've rigged some howitzers for airdrop as well. We haven't got them here yet.
What's up, guys? I'm out here in Ramstein, Germany for the 2019 iteration of Saber Junction. Now, this is a massive joint forcible entry exercise, and basically what that means is they're doing a big drop of paratroopers, Humvees, artillery pieces to go in and take a key piece of terrain and hold it. Now, this is obviously training for a more conventional fight than the military is used to doing. You know, for the last 18 years, we've been fighting a counter-insurgency, doing counter-terrorism operations. This is preparing for a fight with near peers. This is to be ready for that in case it ever comes down to that. Now, the 139th, they go around the world supporting operations, everything from doing airdrops to delivering equipment, basically anything that the military needs. I had a chance to talk with the load masters as they're preparing for the drop today. You know, they're getting ready for the drop, loading the aircraft. There's a lot of work that goes into it. The logistical considerations are huge.
What does an engineer do on a C-130?
So we're systems management. This middle seat right here is ours, and any type of fuels, electrics, pneumatics, hydraulics, anything like that is basically our job to run it. We do pre-flights, post-flights, performance data, anything like that.
So if something goes wrong, it's your fault.
That's correct. 9 times out of 10, that's right.
And you're an engineer as well?
I am.
Is it a requirement to have a mustache as an engineer in the Air Force?
It is, actually. It's also required to have a Corvette, I think, in our unit, so we're still working on that.
On a slightly more serious note, for something like this, is this like the Super Bowl for you guys to come out and do a big exercise like this, or is this more of just like another day in the job?
I would say this is kind of like the playoffs for us, in a way. This is like getting ready for the big thing, and for him and I being younger engineers, this is a great experience for us to come out and actually get some real-world training.
How long have you been in the Air Force?
I'm at my 7-year mark this year.
Okay. I have, as somebody who's jumped out of C-130s, I have one perspective of this aircraft and what it can do. What do people not get about the C-130? It's been around for a while, but what makes the C-130 special?
Just the maneuvers that we can do, the type of drops that we can do at the altitudes that we do it and the speed that we do it. This is the only really aircraft that can do those kinds of things. I'd say it's very versatile. Like, we can land on gravel and sand and snow and do a lot of things that other aircraft aren't able to do. So.
Awesome. This is one of the few areas in the world where the conventional fight is being supported by special operations, as opposed to special operations being the main effort. Now, with special operations out here, they've already done a jump the other day. They're already in place. They're doing reconnaissance. The paratroopers will come in later. But right now, today, this is where success starts, in the planning phase. Doing these things that are just, you know, you're moving from the United States to Europe and then doing a massive airdrop with close to a dozen aircraft, thousands of people involved, multiple countries. This is quite the endeavor. And you know, they're doing it knowing that certain people are watching. And there's some stuff they want them to see and they want them to know that we mean business. And then there's other stuff that's held a little bit closer to the chest. But we're out here and we're gonna see how this training all goes down. And I'm very interested to see how these guys are working. The 139th is a National Guard unit, so most of these guys are away from home for a couple of weeks, and these are real-world operations with real-world consequences when you're talking about putting paratroopers out of the plane and dropping heavy equipment. Let's go check out what they're doing.
Okay, the Army situation. A near-peer aggressor, if you will, from the east, use your imagination, has decided to move in from the east, containing large Army-sized force to the north, moving into Nuremberg. Another Army-sized force moving into Munich to the south. It's Oktoberfest, why not? And then a smaller force moving straight into the center. They are including artillery pieces and then 2S6, Edition 4 and such. However, for our scenario, in order to keep it in the N class, there will be no air threats coming up against us. So use your training, remember what you've learned back home. When you're in a situation like this, remember, any kind of sizable force would have those kind of threats at these locations.
All right, so I just got out of the mission briefing that the Air Force put on with their all of their crews present. This is a really cool exercise from the perspective of most of what the military is doing around the world is low-intensity conflict, counter-insurgencies, counter-terrorism, working by, through, and with local forces. This Saber Junction exercise is a conventional first training exercise where this is training for a conventional threat. The specific scenario that they're training for, as they briefed it, was a near-peer threat coming from the east. As the commander said during that, use your imagination on who that is invading this part of Germany. And that's the scenario that they're working with. And so this Joint Forceable Entry exercise is basically taking the Air Force and the 173rd Airborne, as well as special operations teams, and then all of our multinational partners, and jumping in, holding ground, and basically kicking in the door and making sure that that invading force is stopped in their tracks. Although this is a training exercise, it has real-world impacts, and as anybody in the military knows, you're not going to do anything in combat that you didn't do in training. So training for this kind of fight and adjusting that military mindset from counterinsurgency and COIN and CT to a conventional fight, that's a big leap to make, and it's going to take rehoning skills that maybe have degraded over the past decade and a half.
9/11 put us in a perspective. I wouldn't necessarily call it dogmatic, but we fought an asymmetric conflict for 18 years, and times are changing. Strategically, we are repositioning ourselves for that near-peer conflict, as we should in certain situations, especially with some of the threats that are out there in the world. We got to continue to be resourced appropriately for this next fight, and hopefully we can bottom up, tactically up, identify issues here and scream to those strategic level leaders to please resource accordingly. Please let's develop new tactics. Please let us get new widgets, and let's get the things that we can win in the next fight.
Especially with our international partners in a combined environment, there's no substitute for doing. We have to meet these international crews and brief them and let them, they share their capabilities with us so we can adjust to have an effective combined fight. We can't do that over email and teleconferences. They have to be here. We have to fly with them to build those lessons learned that Scooter mentioned, so that we can provide that to the next, not exercise, the next operation in a joint combined environment.
All right, Sergeant Kempel, what's it like here to be in Germany as a Sky soldier, getting ready to jump in and take a piece of key terrain?
Honestly, it's pretty awesome being able to jump in with the Italians today. It's a great opportunity. I've never personally jumped with a foreign force before, so I'm excited. We worked together last night during SAT, and it looks like it's going to be a pretty good jump and a pretty good seizure at the airfield.
Obviously, any jump that you do, it's one of the most dangerous things that you do in the military. What is going through your mind as an NCO, getting ready to take your guys up in an aircraft and put them out at, 1,200 feet, I imagine?
Honestly, the fear of jumping goes away pretty quick when you're dealing with your guys. Just trying to make sure they hit the ground quick, get their weapon in operation, and get to the Alpha as quick as they can. I have a couple new guys with me today, so they all have their azimuth to the Alpha actually written on their hands, so they should be pretty good. We'll consolidate and get in position as quick as we can.
All right, so we're getting ready to go up to do a heavy drop. Basically what this means is we won't have any paratroopers with us, but we're gonna drop some heavy stuff, AKA Humvees. First one going out is 10,000 pounds, the second one 15,000 pounds. Should be pretty cool, and the paratroopers will be going out on the other birds, so this will be pretty awesome to see big Humvees going out.
So we just got in from Ramstein, Germany, over in the Landstuhl area, where I was with the 139th Air National Guard Wing, dropping paratroopers into Hohenfels, Germany. That's where we are now. We're gonna link up with the 173rd Airborne, catch up with their field ops, as well as some special operations soldiers, both from the United States, the Lithuanians, and a couple other countries that they're working with. All this is coming together into this large Saber Junction exercise. All right, so we're going to meet up with some snipers in a hide site out here in the box in this little village, which is the big training area. Apparently they're set up, they're a specific detachment just for doing observation. I gotta go through a couple of security checkpoints and then we'll be able to see what they're up to.
So right now we have the sniper team in what was a hidden hide site have now opened up all the windows and become more overt to provide a security overwatch position for the non-combatant evacuation that's going on outside. They've placed personnel in the tower in the center of town to have better overwatch of the entire city so that they can track personnel movements around the town to make sure that everybody follows the prescribed path. With that information, they're relaying it to the brigade and battalion commanders that are running the exercise so they have better oversight of what's happening. If necessary, they have the ability to provide accurate fire into the town to take out a threat through the sniper rifle. And the idea there being that they can eliminate a threat if necessary in order to save lives, for say something like a suicide vest or something along those lines, if in fact the police or the security forces in town can't do it on their own. So without this position here, they'd be solely reliant on the police force, which they don't necessarily have a great relationship with at this point. The guys here have been in the town set for 3 days. They know the majority of the personalities and they can identify people walking around. So if there's a question about who a person is, if they were here before, or they need just some more information on somebody, the team has the ability to track personnel movements and give that insight in a different light than the other avenues of information that they have.
We're up here right now. Okay. Up in Florida. We're gonna push up to Larry King Highway, and then we have to make a jump across this big DZ right here. So my element will be in front. We'll have a spec mission going into south of Raversdorf right here. It's a big town.
Okay.
And we'll push through this wooded area across to checkpoint 17, and that's where we cut straight down to drop onto 18. We're basically just, this is going to be kind of the main avenue for our decisive operation to roll through for the battalion. So our job for this platoon is just to kind of hold this gateway open for them to roll through when they're ready.
Gotcha.
There's a large enemy force coming, what we like to say near peer. So not like what we've typically dealt with in the past, definitely a state actor. Been moving across Eastern Europe into Western Europe, and now they're in Germany, and they're trying to envelop the friendly forces we have here. With that, it's good because we got the 173rd, a bunch of Sky soldiers, and Sky soldiers are supposed to be surrounded, so it really plays well in this scenario. But this opposing force comes with the whole gamut. Everything from armor to light infantry to their version of special operations forces, and then what we're really getting after too is the multi-domain. They come with the capability to do IO. This scenario having aspects like that, the multi-domain fight is really good, and it's good for us to come out of an exercise like this.
All right, so we just finished up this big conventional force-on-force battle between the OPFOR, which we were with, and the 173rd Airborne Brigade.
Oh, that's your dead light.
Well, we got killed.
They had all their miles like rolled up and like will live to fight another day, because it's training. They call themselves the world's best Op 4, and so far from what I can see, that holds up. A lot of really squared away tankers. They've been living out of their vehicles for the last 4 or 5 days now. Like I said, really cold at night, and just really getting after it. So they put up a hell of a fight today. They're all pretty excited about their victory in battle today, their glorious victory, and it sounds like they'll be able to head back and get some showers, get some good chow, and then go back into the second half of the exercise. So I'm out here for the final culmination exercise, and I'll be tagging along with an ODA from 5th Special Forces Group. These guys are going to be doing a direct action raid with their multinational counterparts. I think it's the Bulgarians they're going with. It's going to be, you know, probably a pretty long night from what I hear. It's the final exercise.
Hey Joe, you guys good to go?
So channel 1 is ciphertext. Channel 2, when you change, you got to put it to plain text.
Yeah. 2 real minor changes to the plan. 1, for the guys who haven't heard, Site U2 is going to roll up. That place where we marked QRF to our north, about 100 meters to our north by northeast. When we roll up, Site U2 is going to bypass us. Go up and hit that target, kill all those dudes, so we won't have to worry about them on our objective. Second minor change to the whistle blast. 1 long whistle means objective clear. That will let Site U3 snipers know to come to us. It will also let the Bulgarians know that our objective is clear. Multiple whistles means prep for exfil. Any questions?
Should be a pretty exciting night here. I'm looking forward to going out with them. Should be a cool little infill. Been talking to the guys, and they got their game plan, and you know, I know the Op 4, from what we've seen, you know, they're gonna put up a good fight, so we'll see how it all goes down.
Delta 1, Charlie 1 out, front courtyard clear. Hey, call it up. Bomb inside.
Bomb inside?
Yeah, that was simulate a bomb.
Okay, so now what do we got?
We got like 4 or 5 casualties.
4 or 5 casualties?
Yeah, unknown at this time.
Knock this
upstairs over there.
Okay.
And this guy's right here is a casualty too.
All right. Druid?
You got any pain meds on you? Negative. All right. Anyone else do you not breathing? Good? Yeah? Okay.
Sector secure!
Said you got secure?
Yeah. Hey, guys are with me. Let's go.
Hang on.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get there. I'm gonna go confirm the count. You got 4 total patients, one of them being dead and yes.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, go!
So I just finished up with the hit. Went in. They went on over ground like they planned, in a bunch of buses and trucks with. It was actually both Bulgarians and Lithuanians that they were working with. These guys from 5th Group were great. As soon as they moved up on the X, they took contact. Team Sergeant told me they actually had 2 of their drivers get shot, and it basically turned into a mass call situation right off the bat. They handled it pretty well though, reacted to contact, cleared the building, went through, the paces of the medical stuff. I saw the medic, the team 18 Delta out there plugging an IV in, and they got their high value target that they were going after, Black Widow. It was overall, I think, a pretty good, this was their culmination exercise to end Saber Junction for them. So I think that this was overall a pretty good end of the exercise, and I know these guys are looking forward to, getting some rest and getting showers and everything. I think overall I'm pretty impressed with Saber Junction and what they've been able to pull off. There's definitely, it's still a training exercise, and there's accommodations you have to make for the fact that it's not real world, but overall it's pretty impressive, the planning that goes into it. The soldiers between the 173rd and the Special Forces soldiers, the multinational elements, they all came in and did a really good job. Everybody had some lessons learned that they took away from this. Overall, it's I think I'm very confident in not only our special operations soldiers are doing, but what our conventional soldiers are doing to prepare for the next fight, potentially the big near-peer fight. So overall, good stay in Germany, and I'm on to the next one.
This guy's got a fast one. Yep.